Incident 1. The Phoenix Bench Press Fatality, 2025. It was a quiet evening at a neighborhood gym in Phoenix, Arizona, where regular members were finishing their late-night sets. 26-year-old Derek Mills, a construction worker and amateur bodybuilder, arrived after work, tired but determined to beat his personal record. The security footage showed him setting up under a loaded barbell, two oversized cartoon weight plates trembling slightly on each side. Derek didn't use a spotter. The gym was nearly empty except for a janitor mopping near the lockers. He inhaled deeply, lifted the bar from the rack, and began his first repetition with shaky control. On the third rep, the bar slipped slightly to his left side. His elbow bent awkwardly under the strain. He gasped, trying to correct the tilt, but his grip loosened as sweat dripped onto the steel bar. The left plate rolled off first, causing the other side to whip downward with violent momentum. The metal bar crashed directly onto Derek's chest with a grotesque cartoon crunch, forcing the air from his lungs. The janitor froze, dropping his mop, as the lights flickered from the shock of the impact. Derek twitched for several seconds, legs kicking weakly, before his arms went limp beside the bench. Blood began pooling under the bench, spreading toward the dumbbell rack as the janitor finally ran for help. The emergency responders arrived 7 minutes later, but Derek's chest cavity had already collapsed. They attempted resuscitation, but his ribcage had shattered, trapping the heart beneath fractured bone. The gym cameras continued recording in silence, capturing the surreal stillness after the chaos. Investigators later noted that the bench's safety clips were missing, a violation that went unnoticed for weeks. The footage spread online that night, turning an ordinary workout into a haunting reminder of gym negligence. Derek's final lift became known locally as the Phoenix Bench Press Fatality, a tragic symbol of misplaced pride and ignored safety. Incident 2. The Chicago Locker Room Steam Explosion, 2024. On a humid August afternoon in Chicago, Illinois, members of a downtown gym gathered in the men's locker room after a long day of training. Among them was Ryan Cole, a 33-year-old accountant who always ended his workouts with a long steam session. The gym's steam system had been malfunctioning for days, hissing louder than usual, yet no one reported it. Ryan stepped inside the small steam room, closing the glass door behind him as the noise of the gym faded away. For several minutes, he relaxed, breathing in slow, heavy exhales as condensation dripped down the walls. But then, the hiss grew into a steady shriek, and the temperature inside began to climb far beyond normal. He reached for the door handle, only to find it jammed, fused tight from the expanding heat. The pressure in the pipes built unseen behind the walls, where rusted joints strained against decades of wear. At 7:46 p.m., the main valve ruptured, releasing a jet of scalding steam that tore across the room. Ryan screamed, a shrill sound swallowed instantly by the roaring blast that stripped the skin from his arms. The walls trembled as the room filled entirely with vaporized water, turning it into a boiling metal tomb. Outside, a member heard a muffled thud and ran to pull open the locker room door. When the smoke cleared, Ryan lay motionless near the drain, skin blistered, his limbs drawn into grotesque angles. Paramedics arrived minutes later, their boots slipping on condensation pooling beneath broken tiles. The cause was traced to a corroded valve that had been flagged for maintenance but never replaced. Building inspectors shut the gym indefinitely, citing extreme negligence and fatal pressure failure. Local news dubbed it the Chicago Steam Explosion, warning every fitness center in the city to inspect their aging systems. For those who witnessed it, the haunting hiss of steam would never sound ordinary again. Incident 3. The Seattle Treadmill Electrocution, 2025. On a rainy February morning in Seattle, Washington, a modern fitness center opened its doors to the early crowd of commuters. Among the members was Erica Bell, a 31-year-old software analyst known for jogging on treadmill number 6 every weekday at dawn. The staff had noticed occasional power flickers in the cardio zone that week, but assumed it was a minor wiring issue. Erica placed her water bottle and phone on the console, set the incline to 5, and began her steady jog as rain tapped softly outside. After 10 minutes, The lights dimmed again, this time followed by a sharp metallic buzz that echoed from beneath her treadmill. The sound was brief, then stopped, and she laughed nervously, thinking it was just static from her headphones. But within seconds, the control screen flashed erratically before going dark, and a faint burning smell filled the air. Erica slowed her pace, reached for the power button, and felt a sudden violent jolt course through her arm. Her screams startled the other members, who turned to see her convulsing, her limbs stiff, mouth wide, eyes blank white. The treadmill belt kept moving, dragging her twitching body backward as electricity continued surging through the machine. When the power finally tripped, Erica collapsed motionless, smoke rising from her shoes and fingertips. One man rushed to unplug the device but slipped on the wet floor, narrowly avoiding a second electrocution. Gym staff quickly evacuated the area while sprinklers activated, sending mist across the smoldering treadmill row. Paramedics arrived within minutes, their equipment beeping softly against the hum of still-falling water. The medical report confirmed death by electrocution, the result of exposed wiring that had shorted through a loose ground cable. Further inspection revealed water leakage from the ceiling had dripped directly onto the treadmill's power relay. Investigators blamed poor maintenance and the gym's failure to install proper surge protection after previous complaints. Locals would remember that rainy morning not for the weather, but for the moment a simple workout turned into a fatal current. Incident 4. The Los Angeles Cable Machine Decapitation, 2025. In Los Angeles, California, a luxury high-rise gym with polished marble floors and chrome equipment opened early for its elite members. 29-year-old Calvin Rhodes, a fitness model and online influencer, began recording his morning cable pull workout for his followers. The gym's maintenance log had listed the cable machine for replacement months ago, but management ignored the warning due to cost. Calvin loaded heavy plates onto the stack, his reflection doubling in the mirror as he smiled toward the phone camera. The first few reps were smooth, his movements synchronized to background pop music echoing through the marble room. Then, a sharp metallic snap pierced through the music, like a gunshot, freezing everyone mid-motion. The high-tension wire had snapped clean from its pulley and recoiled like a blade, slicing forward with unthinkable speed. In a single instant, the cable struck Calvin across the neck, severing his airway before he even realized what had happened. His body jerked violently backward, spraying dark red arcs that splattered across the polished mirror. The other gym-goers screamed, stumbling away as the detached handle clattered to the floor beside his motionless legs. Security footage later showed the entire incident lasting only 3.2 seconds from snap to silence. One trainer, trembling, tried pressing a towel to the wound, but the damage was catastrophic and irreversible. Paramedics arrived within 5 minutes to a scene so pristine it felt unreal, blood dripping across white marble like paint on glass. The medical examiner determined the steel cable had been corroded internally, weakened by sweat and humidity over years. The gym's owners faced multiple lawsuits for negligence, though they quickly rebranded under a new name weeks later. The video from Calvin's live stream circulated online, amassing millions of horrified views before platforms removed it. Fitness enthusiasts across the country began checking their own machines, suddenly aware of the hidden violence behind the cables. And in that high-rise gym, despite its renovation and new name, members still whisper about the day the cable turned into a blade. Incident 5. The Phoenix Bench Press Crush, 2025. In May of 2025, a suburban gym in Phoenix, Arizona became the site of a silent and devastating accident. The victim, 31-year-old personal trainer Evan Brooks, was known for late-night solo workouts after closing hours. At 11:42 p.m., security footage captured him preparing a heavy bench press set, 4 plates on each side, totaling nearly 405 pounds. He adjusted his grip, lowered himself onto the padded bench, and aligned his breathing for the first rep. Unknown to Evan, the right side safety clip was missing, a small detail overlooked during maintenance. As he lowered the bar toward his chest, the imbalance grew. The plates began to shift silently toward the edge. The moment he pressed upward, the plate slipped completely free, A flash of movement and sound. The sudden loss of balance snapped the bar off center, slamming one side into his collarbone. He tried to recover, but gravity won. The 405-pound bar rolled and dropped across his upper ribs. A muted gasp escaped as his lungs compressed under the weight, his arms twitching against the cold steel. For nearly 40 seconds, Evan struggled, his legs kicking weakly on the rubber mat before going still. The sound of metal striking the floor echoed through the empty gym, then silence. At 12:03 a.m., a janitor entering for overnight cleaning discovered him. Motionless, bar still pinning him down. Police and paramedics arrived within minutes, but his pulse had already stopped. The coroner reported massive thoracic trauma and suffocation due to chest compression. The gym's inspection later revealed months of ignored safety reports and missing parts from outdated benches. The footage of Evan's final moments circulated briefly online before being removed for its disturbing realism. What began as a midnight workout ended as another grim reminder. Even in a place of strength, a single missing clip can crush a life.